Hello, I'm Jyotika. Welcome to Excelling Psychology. In today's class, we will discuss how to write an SAQ for IB Psychology Paper 1. You can see a question on the screen. This is from the May 2024 paper, Time Zone 1 HL. Describe one ethical consideration in one study investigating the relationship between brain and behavior. The most requests I get are for answers relating to ethics or research methods. That is why I have selected this one. But in this class, my intention is not to make you memorize an answer for this particular question. Rather, I want to show you how to phrase your answers, what content to cover in an answer, and also to point out commonly made mistakes by students and to tell you how you can avoid making them. So, though this video I have taken one particular answer for illustration, this video is not only about this answer in particular. You can use the suggestions which I am giving for any SEQ that you're phrasing for your IB Psychology Paper 1. So, having said that, what's the first thing you need to do when it comes to an SEQ? The first thing you need to do is read the question very carefully. I know students have been taught to focus on the command term, but in my view, the command terms are not as important as what the command term is focusing on or asking you to do is. So no doubt, instead of describe, there could have been explain or outline, and your focus changes a little. In description, you give details. In explanation, you get into the why or the deeper processes behind the concept. And in outline, you just give a summary. That is important. But when it comes to what you are asked to, describe, explain, outline, that is even more important. Here, if you see, the question is describe one ethical consideration in relation to one study. The first mistake students make, I would like to point out over here, they describe the study. So, first I'll just tell you, in this class, I'm going to take the Maguire study to answer this question, just because it is the most popular. I know when it comes to ethics and brain and behavior, in your mind, you would think Rogers and Kessner would be better to discuss, or Antonova would be better to discuss, because ethics are very prominent in those studies. Why I have taken Maguire? Because all the students internationally from different schools who I have seen, Maguire is one study which is taught in every school. I'm yet to come across a school which does not teach Maguire. So just to be relevant to as many students as possible, I'm taking that one. Doesn't matter which study you're taking, but for example, if you're taking Maguire, and the way you answer this question is by giving a summary of Maguire in the sense its aim, procedure, results, and conclusion, that is not what the answer is asking you to do. They are asking you to describe the ethical consideration, not to describe the study. In some questions, when it comes to SAQ, like concept-based questions, I'm not taking ethics and research method right now, they ask you to describe a study. Like say, for example, they would ask you to describe one study of brain and behavior. There you summarize Maguire in terms of aims, procedure, conclusion. In fact, you even give the sample, experimental design, research method used. Yes. Or if they ask you a question, describe a theory of brain and behavior in relation with a study. In that case, you describe a theory. So you describe neuroplasticity, and then you give Maguire as an illustration. So there you discuss a lot about neuroplasticity. Here what they have asked you to describe, the ethical consideration. So you describe the ethical consideration, not the study. That's why reading the question in full without any haste before answering the question is very important. Otherwise, what will happen, you've written the entire answer, then you realize you've made a mistake, and then if you go to correct the entire answer, you've lost out on a lot of time, which you might not be able to recover. So read the question, see where the command term is focused. That's step 1. Step 2 is to check how many studies, theories, ethical considerations, research methods they've asked you to refer to. Here they've asked for 1. In some ERQs, they tell you discuss 1 or more ethical considerations. This might seem obvious, but it is very important that when they ask you for 1 ethical consideration, you give only 1. What happens is some students have learnt a lot of ethical considerations for say Maguire because they intend to write those as evaluation points, say in some ERQ. So just because they know a lot of ethical considerations, they just want to put all of them down in the SAQ. You're not going to get credit for more than one ethical consideration. They've asked you for exactly one. Don't waste your word count, which is very limited. Maximum word count you can take on an SAQ is 400. So don't waste that precious word count and your precious time on writing something which is not going to be scored at all. When they've asked you for one ethical consideration, take only one. Okay, so now I will write an answer. As I'm writing, I'll keep explaining to you what I'm doing in this answer. So when it comes to one ethical consideration for Maguire, I think informed consent is the most relevant. I'm taking that one. You could have a different consideration and a different study. Also, the structure which I'm giving here is a model structure. Your structure does not have to match exactly. Everyone's writing style can be different, and the IB is open to that. Just try to understand what all you need to cover in the answer. Okay, first, because I need to be totally focused on ethical consideration in this study, I will just give two sentences on what informed consent is. One sentence showing its description or definition, the other one showing its importance. I will not write more about informed consent in general because otherwise my answer will become unfocused. So in general, I will give only 2 points. Why I'm giving this definition and importance is because I want to address the question. Be it an SAQ or an ERQ, we should begin by addressing the question directly. I want to point out which is that ethical consideration out of all the ones which we are having that I have selected for this study. But instead of just naming it, this is the ethical consideration which I'm covering, I'm also taking the opportunity to define it and to show its importance. So the first two sentences are one, just to in general explain what the guideline is, and two, to directly address the question which is given. Let's see how this is done. So informed consent is an ethical consideration which ensures that participants in research studies are fully aware of the purpose and nature of the study. Okay, one thing, please ignore any typos. My wrist is paining. I'm not able to type smoothly. Second thing is, I don't want to discuss the content much, but here and there where I see some common mistakes made by students, I'll just quickly address them. When it comes to informed consent, many students believe it's just about telling participants the purpose of the study. That's not all that there is to it. Information before taking agreement or consent has more aspects to it besides purpose of the study. So include those also whenever you define informed consent. So purpose and nature of the study, what else we need to tell participants? Its procedures, any risks or benefits that are involved before they can consent. Now, to avoid a circular definition, instead of just saying before they can consent, I'll say before they agree to take part. Now, to explain why it is important, as we know, informed consent is important because the autonomy of participants need to be respected. Everyone has a right to decide what activity they would like to engage in. That is why it is important. So informed consent is important because it respects the autonomy of participants, allowing them to take a conscious decision about their involvement in the study. Okay, now I will from this point onwards become increasingly focused on the question. These were generic points. Now I'm going to start addressing exactly what has been asked in the question. So firstly, they have chosen a topic area for this ethical consideration, which is brain and behavior. How informed consent matters when it comes to brain and behavior is what I'll explain next, and then I'll come down to the Maguire study. If you look at the mark schemes, you will see, always look at the mark schemes carefully. I don't know, IB psychology students are the only ones whom I have noticed are not very aware of what is there on the mark scheme. What you will see is, for these type of questions, If you write a general answer without reference to any study at all, the maximum marks you can be awarded is 5. Indirectly, that tells you that no doubt the answer is entirely focused on the study, but you need to have some content apart from the study as well, because even that is credit worthy. That is what the mark scheme is telling you. So keep that in mind. So, you could begin with, like I told you, everyone's writing style is different. So you could begin with informed consent applies to Maguire study in this way. But I believe that giving some general information on informed consent and then bringing it down to the specific topic, of course, being more focused on the specific topic, is a much better way of organizing it. Okay, so when it comes to brain and behavior, why is informed consent important? What have you learned in your syllabus? Because lots of these studies involve brain scanning technology. Of course, there are other reasons also why it is important. But one important reason is that brain scanning is done and it is potentially harmful, and it is a sensitive area of research, like finding out extreme details, fine details of how someone's brain is functioning. For these reasons, it is important to take informed consent. So just highlighting that, of course, it's relevant to the Maguire study. Whatever general point I'm discussing, also, it's not just a random point that I'm putting in out of nowhere. It is relevant to the Maguire study. So I'm like creating an introduction. I'm creating a lead into that study by discussing this particular point. Good answers are always structured like that, no matter what the subject and no matter which answer we are writing, even within psychology, always they should be broader, narrower, till they come to the specific topic which we are addressing. So they have to become increasingly specific and increasingly relevant. So in investigating brain and behavior, brain scanning technology is often used which can be potentially harmful, as it can be invasive or can cause biological changes through exposure to radiation or magnetic fields. Always use good terminology, as you know, in the paper. So instead of using loose language or non-psychological language, such as participants have to get their brain tested, and that can be dangerous for them because it can be, say, it can involve giving them some drugs. Like instead of giving vague ideas or being abstract about what happens, use words like invasive, radiation, magnetic field. If relevant, use words like injections, because PET is one method in which they actually inject it. Use very specific scientific and psychological terms to show that you have sophistication, you have psychological knowledge, and you're not writing an answer as a layman. You're writing an answer as a psychology student. So make use of relevant terms which are relevant to the study also, and which show your knowledge and understanding of what you've learned in the syllabus. So here the point I have made is, it is important to consider informed consent in brain and behavior, particularly because the nature of brain scanning can be invasive or can involve radiation or magnetic fields, which is potentially damaging. In the beginning, we have mentioned that there can be risks involved in the study. Here we are pointing out what type of risk can be involved. So as you're seeing, every point is linked or connected with the previous. And that is why, because one of the important considerations in informed consent is risks involved, and here risk is involved. That's why it becomes all the more important. One more thing I'd like to point out here, students know that their conclusion paragraph needs to be linked to whatever they've written before. But it's not only the conclusion paragraph that needs to be linked. Every point needs to stem from the points you've written previously. Every point needs to be linked to previous points made. Okay, so here I've shown potential risks which are involved in brain and behavior studies. That's why informed consent is important. Not only that, as I mentioned, data can be sensitive. So participants also need to understand how their brain data will be used in reporting the study, and publishing its results. Brain data is sensitive, how someone's brain is working or it's malfunctioning. Uh, Participants need to be made aware of how that data will be published, how it will be kept confidential. So, of course, confidentiality is a separate guideline altogether, but when do we make them aware about the confidential nature of the study? That is at the stage of informed consent. So, we need to mention that as well. So, definitely, ethical integrity is ensured by maintaining informed consent in brain behavior relations. Now, to lead into this study by Maguire, we can just give a lead in sentence and come to the next paragraph where we start linking up with the study. These considerations are illustrated in the study by Maguire on structural changes in taxi drivers. Okay, so this is a lead-in sentence. I've shown the relevance of informed consent to this broader topic, and now I'm going to illustrate it with the help of a specific study. Now, the key after this point becomes to keep on pointing out what aspects of the study are relevant to informed consent. We have said in general, procedures, risks, benefits, those are the things participants need to be informed. So it's very simple. What we have to keep on doing now is in the Maguire study, what are the procedures, what are the risks, what are the benefits in this particular study, which makes informed consent important. That's what we have to keep on pointing out in the next paragraph. I'll reiterate, no general description of the study in terms of aim, procedure, results, no general points, nothing without reference to informed consent. Only and only informed consent in Maguire is what we are focusing on. I like to take a separate paragraph when I begin with the study. Don't write in continuity. I would say just avoid writing a continuous answer without any breaks into paragraph. It can be very difficult to read for the examiner. So in the study, also other things like should we write the year of the study, the exact title of the study, all that is not important. So in the study by Maguire et al., also I forgot to mention et al., ethical guideline of informed consent was particularly relevant because the nature of the study was to investigate structural changes in the hippocampi of London taxi drivers, making it a potentially risky study as MRI was used for investigation of the brain and sensitive brain data was collected. Here, in a sense, I have justified why I have selected this study for this particular topic, like why Maguire only for informed consent. So that is a good beginning of describing a study, any study. We ended in with a lead-in. We ended the last paragraph with a lead-in that the study is relevant, and now how we begin the study is by justifying why this study only. And then, like I mentioned previously, we can start linking it to the particular considerations within informed consent. So now we just keep on elaborating more as to why informed consent is relevant. If we read the Maguire paper, it's not very clear, like it's not directly addressed whether informed consent was taken and how it was taken, because that's not the main objective of the study. So we can just use little hypothetical language and keep on, saying it should have been followed. These are the reasons it should have been followed, without commenting on whether it was followed or not, because most probably it was. It's just that we don't know. It's not explicitly mentioned. This also reminds me of one more thing. Many students feel that when ethical consideration is asked for, whether in SAQ or ERQ, they need to point out ethical flaws in the study. That's not what they've asked you. They've not asked you to show why the study is not ethical. You can also show why the study is ethical. Maguire is ethical, and that is what we are pointing out here. So ethical consideration does not mean ethical flaw. It can mean ethical strengths as well. Also, don't evaluate. Having used the word strengths, I don't mean that you evaluate. There has to be no evaluation in an SAQ. So whether it's good, bad, it was maintained well or not, you're not to comment on those things. You're just to point out why this consideration is important. That's all. Okay, so here we can see we have just mentioned in the previous sentence that they were going to use technology, MRI, to investigate brain scanning. So what we can specify now is, before participating, the taxi drivers have been, or I would say would have been, because most probably they were, thoroughly informed about the study's importance, objective, which was to determine whether extensive navigational experiences affects brain structure, particularly the hippocampus. Have I pointed out the aim of the study? Yes. Have I simply pointed out the aim of the study just for the sake of describing the study? No. I have pointed out the aim of the study to show that this is what should have been told to the taxi drivers as a part of informed consent. So now I hope you see the difference between just summarizing the study, which is not required, and summarizing it in relation with the particular consideration which we are taking into account. The drivers needed to be explicitly informed that their hippocampal changes would be compared with those of control participants with no experience in taxi driving. Am I pointing out the procedure of the study, what was done in the study? Yes. Am I pointing out irrelevantly? No. In relevance to informed consent, because what I said in the informed consent previous paragraph, participants need to know the purpose and nature of the study, or what will be done, the procedure of the study. So this is the procedure that they should have been told about at the time of informed consent. That is what I'm pointing out. Now, why is it important, right? So I have said, okay, this is what should have been informed to them, but we have also mentioned why informed consent is important in general. So in this study, why it is important to tell them about these things? So this information is important so that they would understand why they were selected for the research, that is, due to their relevant taxi driving experience, and what they would contribute towards the larger field of brain and behavior, knowledge of how psychomotor experiences can contribute to motor development of the brain. So here we have shown why they should know about what the study is, because like we mentioned in the last paragraph, participants have right to autonomy. We are respecting their autonomy by giving informed consent. So here we are respecting their autonomy in the sense they should know why they have only been asked to be a part of this study, then they can decide. They can use their autonomy to decide whether they want to participate or not. So because they are taxi drivers and that is what is relevant to the study, That is why they have been selected. Also, of course, they have to know how their data will be reported and published, but even before that, what is the contribution that they can make towards the larger field of brain and behavior? How their participation is important. We need to tell them that so that they can judge whether it would be a good idea to give their time and effort for such a study. So, by their participation, they are helping us to understand if someone has psychomotor knowledge, such as driving taxis, how that helps in developing the motor areas of the brain. And of course, memory also, I forgot, contribute to motor and memory development of the brain. They need to know about that also. So, that is exactly, it's a suggestion on why they should be participating also, and that shows the value of their participation in the study. So having known that they can make a relevant contribution, an important contribution to the field, then they can fully use their freedom to decide whether they want to make this contribution or not. Unless they know what their contribution is, how will they decide? Okay, now we can become furthermore elaborate, we can add more detail to the answer. We can add specifically what could be problematic about being in an MRI scanner, having MRI scanning done, which is why informed consent is important. So what I would say is, furthermore, the procedure of undergoing MRI scanning involves being in a confined space with loud noises. So it was necessary to inform participants about the potential discomfort or anxiety that this could cause. Okay, so in this next paragraph, I'm showing the risks. In the last paragraph, what I showed, how autonomy needs to be respected, because that is what we had mentioned first under informed consent, that they should know the nature and procedure. So in the last paragraph, I have linked it to the general definition of informed consent by showing that in this study, what nature and procedure they needed to know about. Then I've also mentioned in the last paragraph, informed consent is also important because of the risks involved. So in this paragraph, I'm explaining what potential risks they were being exposed to. Okay, and of course, it is very good to give examples, always to detail points and to elaborate on them. So when I have mentioned potential discomfort and anxiety, which could be caused, again, note the use of terminology. I can give an example of what type of harm exactly could be there. So such as if someone has metallic implants, we know it could be dangerous to be in the MRI because magnetic field could cause disruptions. It could attract the metallic implants, causing damage to their body. So just an example of that. So participants could disclose any conditions, or rather we would say participants could be asked, because it's the researcher's duty to disclose any conditions such as metallic implants in their body that could be affected by the magnetic field of the fMRI, posing a risk to their health and well-being. Right? When we've spoken about the contribution they are making towards brain and behavior, in a sense, we have shown them the benefit of participating in this study. But what about the risk that they are being exposed to? So that is what we have explained here. So if anyone's having dental fillings or a pacemaker or an artificial limb which is made of metal, in that case, they should avoid being part of the study. It's researchers' duty to ask them about these things at the time of informed consent so that they can prevent such participants from being included. I want you to note throughout the answer how I'm making it very relevant to the study, because one mistake, as I've said, is to just summarize the study without relevance to informed consent. Another mistake is to keep on talking about informed consent in general throughout the answer without linking explicitly specific features or aspects of the study that matter when it comes to informed consent. So there are many answers that we go through which are very repetitive in nature. It was brain scanning, so participants should have known about the study. It was important to tell them that MRI scanning will take place. Means the same thing is said over and over. But why it is important to tell them about MRI scanning? What type of dangers it poses, like we've discussed about metallic implants, those things have not been specified at all. So don't keep on reiterating the same point in different words. Rather, make sure that you're bringing about exact and specific aspects that need to be addressed. Also, in the previous paragraph, we have mentioned about how sensitive data needs to be dealt with, that needs to be informed to participants at the type of informed consent, and they should also know about their right to withdraw. So those things also we should discuss with respect to Maguire. Again, I just take a separate paragraph after the risk. So I would say that participants would have been told about their right to withdraw in case they could not anticipate their ability to cope in the MRI before the study and needed to leave after their experience with it. So some participants would consent to the study and only to later realize that the MRI is very uncomfortable for them. They are not able to handle it. So in that case, they should be told that they can leave the study. So again, we are bringing up the point to right to withdraw, but with relevance to the study. So we are contextualizing every point. Finally, coming to how their data would be used, there we can mention, given that the study involved detailed analysis of hippocampi volume, it was important for participants to know that this sensitive data, so I'm pointing out which is the sensitive data in this study, would strictly be used, I won't say generally, for purposes of the study. What purpose of this study, I will explicitly point out, be used for the purposes of understanding the brain's response to navigational experience, okay. So I would just like to show once again, because this is the most important thing, so I wanted to get ingrained in your mind. In the previous paragraph, we have spoken about generally why informed consent is important, because participants need to know about purpose of the study, nature, risks and benefits. It gives respect to their autonomy, means leaving the study is also an important part of their autonomy. And they need to know about, they need to make a conscious decision. So how their data will be used is also something they need to know, which we had explained when we made it more relevant to brain and behavior, because brain data is particularly what is sensitive. So in brain type of research, they need to know at the stage of informed consent where their data will be used. These are the very points, these are all the points that I have then discussed with respect to Maguire. So for example, this is the purpose which they need to know about. This is the procedure that they will have to undergo MRI scanning. That is what they need to know about. They need to know that they can leave the study at any time because they have their autonomy in place. And this is the sensitive data which they need to know about, that this is what is going to be published, but of course only for the purposes of understanding navigational experience and not to share their private information with other researchers or readers. So this is how we structure the answer. I hope you're able to see the structure. First, we generally introduce the ethical guideline and its importance. Then we show why it's relevant in the larger area. Then we show in this particular study how all of the general discussion which we have done is applied. And so why it was relevant to this study in view of whatever we have discussed in general before. So that is how our IB answers need to be structured. Of course, we need to give a conclusion. Students are very aware of the fact that the conclusion needs to be linked back to whatever has been written. But in our answer throughout, we have been linking every point with the previous. So it's just flowing. So even our conclusion will flow in the same way, it will be linked to the remaining. For conclusion, the only advice I have is for SAQs, keep your conclusions as brief as possible. Try to cover them in 1 or 2 sentences. Don't dedicate too much of the word count for conclusion, because conclusions are more or less reiterations of what has already been written. So here what I would suggest is, in conclusion, informed consent is critical to research in brain and behavior. As exemplified by the Maguire study. It involves potentially risky procedures like MRI scanning and collection and analysis of sensitive data, like data about specific areas of the brain, example hippocampus. Taking informed consent therefore ensures that participants' autonomy in deciding to be a part of such risky and sensitive studies is respected and ethical integrity is maintained. That's all. So it is a reiteration and a summary of what we have written before, and it kind of reconciles the whole answer. Just 1 or 2 more things that we can look at. One, what is the word count of the answer that we've written finally? I always tell students that word count is something we need not worry about. It should not be an active concern when we are writing an answer. If we follow the structure of the answer, like throughout we've just focused on the structure. So in that case, we don't need to worry about the word count, because the word count is given in a VOD, like it's been decided in a way that it is, it will be met, it will not be exceeded rather if we follow the guidelines which are given. So the word count is generous. That is what I would say. So we don't need to worry about it if we are following the structure. When we tend to go beyond the word count is, or when we tend to use very little word count is, either we are writing unnecessary details or we are not linking the study enough. We are not using the study enough. So if we are not making both these mistakes, we will be well within the word count. Okay. So the word count for my answer is approximately 400 words. And so that's well within the guidelines. Maximum is 400 words. Also, I wanted to see that the conclusion which I have written, I'll just come to it again, is a separate paragraph altogether. I forgot to mention this earlier. Try to keep the conclusion in a separate paragraph, even if you're writing a continuous answer. Why I would suggest that is because there is weightage for, explicit linking of the conclusion to the rest of the answer. So just make it prominent where the conclusion is. Also, I had told you that I will link to the mark scheme. And I will show you how the answer is meeting the requirements of the mark scheme. So I've pasted the mark scheme here. This mark scheme is applicable to all short answer questions, not only this one. So I'll just quickly show you how and why our answer meets the requirements of this mark scheme, so that you know why you should be writing the answer like this. Of course, we want to score on the 7 to 9 mark band. Ideally, we want to score 9 out of 9. So our focus should be on that one. The first requirement to make our answer meet 7 to 9 mark band is that the response should be fully focused on the question. Was our response fully focused on the question? Yes, because one, we spoke about an ethical consideration and we did not talk in general about any study or theory or what ethical guidelines are in general and why they should be maintained, nothing of that sort. So the question asked us for one ethical consideration, we were fully focused on that and it was relevant to the following study. So we have met this requirement. Does it meet the command term requirements? The command term was describe. We have described and pointed out where first of all, we've described informed consent in one sentence, that these are the things which should be involved in information in informed consent. So there we have met the describe command term, and then in the study throughout also we have linked these details to the study. We've not tried to explain why these risks should be told to participants, or why they why the risk should be told to them, or why that sensitive data is being collected from them. So we have not strayed as such and gone towards the command term of explain, for example, or we have not gone towards outline by missing out on the details. We have strictly been focused on the describe command term. So our answer is being fully focused on the question, and it has been according to the command term describe, which is all about detailing. Okay, the next requirement within this mark band is that we should give accurate knowledge and understanding. So I have given that in the answer, like you can see. Whatever we have defined about informed consent, that is correct knowledge. It shows our understanding of what informed consent is. And by linking it explicitly to the study, again we have shown knowledge and understanding, that this is how it applies to the study. Does it address the main problem in the question? Yes, the main problem was about one ethical consideration. It was about ethics. We haven't strayed away from there. Finally, the response is supported by appropriate research. Is the research relevant to informed consent? Maguire study? Yes, because whatever points we made about brain data being sensitive and brain scans being used, all those features are there in the Maguire study. So it is relevant and it is appropriate. And is it explicitly linked to the question? Now, this is where students feel only the conclusion needs to be linked. In fact, the answer throughout needs to be linked to the question, which we have done. So, is it explicitly linked to the question? Yes, because we have not described Maguire in general. This is the reason why we need to avoid describing it in general, because then it's not explicitly linked to the question. So we have met all the requirements for 7 to 9. We can get high scores with these type of SAQs. Although we should not be looking at the other mark bands because we don't want to meet those, but still, just to show you what mistakes you need to avoid, very quickly I will just go through those mark bands also. Supposing you give an answer which does not meet any standard described below. So your answer is something totally like, say there's no mention of an ethical guideline at all, and you have just described brain and behavior and Maguire study in context of that, you will score 0. Next is, if you have given limited relevance to the question, you have just rephrased the question. That's why I mentioned you need to define and give the importance of informed consent, because if you're just saying one ethical consideration is informed consent, so this is where your answer falls then. It is just rephrasing, one ethical is this, like that. So then you just get something between 1 to 3. If your knowledge and understanding is inaccurate, say you're talking about informed consent, but then you're just talking about harm. So you're only talking about risks that could have been caused to participants. Say they would be claustrophobic in the MRI, or they would, metallic implants would damage their body. So you're only pointing out the harm related aspects, and you're not specifying that this harm needs to be given as a potential risk at informed consent stage. So then you have deviated from informed consent into protection from harm guideline. Then your knowledge is inaccurate because you don't know the difference between informed consent and harm. or it's not relevant to the question. Again, if instead of ethics you're just making general discussions, you're not being relevant. And the research supporting the response, say it is mostly not relevant to the question. Say instead of biological you have taken from some other or topic, you have taken the study. Or in fact, one mistake commonly students make in ethics, this is an important one, they'll take some animal research. For example, they'll take Rogers and Kessner, or they might even take Merzenich, because drastically bad ethical procedures are there in those studies. From ethics point of view, the procedures are very dangerous. So say they are taking Rogers and Kessner, or they are taking Merzenich. Now what they'll do is, they will say take the larger ethical guideline of protection from harm, which is applicable to human research, not to animal research. To animal research, what is applicable is procedural pain and distress. Those are the guidelines, and using species, which sentience and species, those type of guidelines. So they take a human ethical issue like protection from harm, and then to support it they give studies such as Rogers and Kessner or Merzenich. So that will be considered as not relevant, irrelevant. And if relevant, supposing they are taking something which involves protection from harm, so say Maguire, in which we are not saying it's violated. Like I said, it does not have to be violated, it's met. But they are discussing how participants were protected from harm. But it's only listed. Only listed means it's not explicitly linked to the study. It is considered, okay, protection from harm was done, and then maybe one line on only those people were selected for the study who didn't get affected by the MRI, that's all. So that's just listing. It's not linking it explicitly like we did in the answer. So many times students come up with, oh, I wrote such a good answer and I did not get enough marks, because the answer you must have written lengthy. In your view, it must be good, but actually it's falling in this mark band. Because it is of this nature, what is described here, that's why it's not able to meet any higher scores. Same is the case with the 4 to 6 mark band. Sometimes students give some response which is relevant, but it's not meeting the command term requirements. So instead of describing, they have outlined or explained the guidelines. Another thing they could do is, say they've explained the considerations. Another thing could be knowledge and understanding is limited. So say they've taken up informed consent, but while I was writing, I had pointed out that if you're taking informed consent and you're just saying that participants should know about purpose of the study. So as if there's nothing more to informed consent, leaving the purpose. There's a lot to informed consent. So if you're only talking about this is the purpose of the study and this is what they should have known, then your knowledge and understanding is accurate, but it's limited. You're not being able to describe, to detail elaborately what the guideline is about. So that's why it could be falling here. So make sure when you learn these guidelines, research methods, concepts, you learn them in full detail. Why the textbook? Students will tell me textbook is so thick because that knowledge is required for the paper. And that's why they're giving you 2 years to prepare. It's not just for the sake of thickening the textbook that they have written so many details. Also, the response is supported by appropriate research which is described. What they mean by described, they're trying to indicate it's not linked explicitly to the knowledge. Because in the first place, the knowledge is only limited. So how will it be linked back? So if you just describe the research, and some students, they keep the informed consent thing separate, what they've written first, and the research is separate. There's no linkage between the two. Then it falls in the 4 to 6. In our answer which we wrote, what we saw, every point in the introduction we kept on linking with the study. If you are treating the first paragraph as a separate answer where I just generally have to describe informed consent, and the second one as a separate paragraph where I just have to describe the Maguire study, that is where you're just describing the research and it's not having any relevance to what is written before. In that case, definitely, no matter how well you write, so you've used good terminology for the study and the guideline and all, but it cannot fall in the 7 to 9 mark band. It's just not meeting the requirements. Okay, so that's all I have for today. This is the SAQ from May 2024, the first one in the paper. In the comments box, you can leave any suggestions for the video, or you can tell me what other videos you'd like to see. Many students ask me for ERQ videos, but today I haven't taken ERQs because I've already covered those in previous videos. So you can check out the playlist on IB Psychology, which I have made. If you would like to take classes or tuition from me, I'm leaving my email ID and contact number in the description box and pinned comment below. Thank you for watching this video.